Hello traders, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm gonna show you an example on how to trade market structure or SMC the simple way. And if you're new to this channel, click the like button and subscribe, guys. That is if you find value in this video here. So firstly, I use the 4-hour and the 15-minute as my entry time frame, guys. So firstly, you need to understand those things here, the time frames. So the 4-hour and the 15-minute, that is what I use mostly whenever I trade like this type of concept here. So market structure is highly important. So let's say maybe for example you have the market pulling to the downside. So let me just change the color for this thing here. So let me just remove it and then start over with my drawings. So let's say the market is pushing to the downside in this type of manner, creating lower lows and lower highs. What you need to understand is that whenever the market is pushing down, let's say maybe you have this low, then you have this lower high here. That means that whenever the market pushes to the downside and breaks this low structure here, that's a break of structure. Just like this. Let me just use a BOS to show the break of structure. So after having a break of structure, it means that you have a new low around here, then you have a high around this point here. So this high is protected, this one here is protected, and then whenever the market breaks it, it means that you have a change of character, and then the market is no longer pushing to the downside but like going to the upside now. So let's say maybe you have this type of structure going on. You're no longer going to look for selling opportunities, you are now looking for buying opportunities in this type of manner, whereby you get the demand maybe for example around this point, then you look for buying opportunities. And I'll show you like on the live charts on how to map out like everything nicely without having any issues, guys. So around here, let's say maybe we get like those nice buying opportunities, but like in this case we just have an example of selling opportunities. So around here we broke the structure, as you can see here, and I like to use like the Fibonacci tool. Let's say the market pulled back in this area here. So the Fibonacci tool is simple, guys. The one that I use is simple. As you can see, you have 0 and then you have your 1, then you have your 0.5, for which it's the middle point, and then you need to be selling at that middle point. Let's say maybe we get an order block within this point. That is where you'd be looking for confirmations on the 15-minute time frame, and that's a realignment on the lower time frame. And sometimes you'll get it within this midpoint, and most of the time you'll be getting it like here within this point or at the extreme zone of that movement or that structure that you have, guys. And in this case, let's say maybe we use it from this high to this low. Then as you can see on the example, the market pulled back into this area here. And another tip that you can use is use like your fair value gaps to spot like your areas of supply, just because whenever the market has like gaps or fair value gaps, it will try and fill those gaps before pushing to the downside. So let's say maybe you have a gap within this area here. Let me just do this like this. You have this fair value gap within this point, and then there is an order block at the extreme. What will happen is that the market will just push up, fill this gap before tapping into this area or mitigating that supply zone. So that is where you're going to look for confirmations on the 15-minute time frame, and your entry should be in this type of manner, whereby you use the previous high as your stop loss, guys. So that is how you be doing like your analysis, and I hope you understand those things right there, guys. So let's say maybe we continue breaking structures. So we get a new break of structure, then we already know that this high here, this high here, and this low here is your overall trading range. Whatever's happening within this point, it's all internal, guys. So the internal structure or the order flow, so it will just push to the upside in this type of manner, creating higher highs and higher lows on the 15-minute time frame. But like knowing that these outer structure highs or swing highs and swing lows are on the 4-hour, guys. We already know the overall pro trend is to the downside, so the internal order flow has to reach an area of value. So let's say maybe we tap into this supply zone here, and then this is the internal order flow pushing to the upside. Then we know that we are going to look for short-term buys. As we can see here, we had a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Then we failed to break the structure just because now we are at an area of value or a POI. Then that is when you get that realignment that we are looking for. Then we push down, then we break this previous low here, previous lower high. Then after breaking that previous lower high, then we know that on the left here, this is liquidity, guys. Now, so the X, I'm gonna use an X to show that that is liquidity. Then you have your C as your change of character right there, or MSS as your market structure shift. Then after having that, you'll be using your Fibonacci tool from the high to the low again, looking for an area of value after this 0.5 area here. So let's say maybe we get the extreme, or you get some type of a fair value gap at that point. Then you'll be waiting for the market to pull back, tap into that area. Then that is when you'll be looking for selling opportunities, just like that. Stops just above, then you're targeting the lows. Simple as that, guys. Now, so guys, we are on the 4-hour time frame on VEX 50, and we're just gonna do some examples so that you can actually see how to trade like SMC. And it's very simple, guys. You just need to wait up until the market reaches your POI, follow the structure, know everything that is needed to trade like this strategy here. And the most important thing obviously is market structure. That is why I'm emphasizing or dropping a lot of content based on market structure. So as you can see here, we had this low, then we had this high, then we had this lower low here, which means this is what? A break of structure, guys. Now a break of structure here, just like that. So it means that the market is pushing to the downside, guys. So around here we have a high, then a low, like I told you about the Fibonacci tool. So after having the high and the low, you can obviously see that the market is trying to push to the downside now, just because already we are at that area that we are looking for, of which it's this one here. So this is the area here, and what I like about this setup is that we also have imbalance within this point, of which that is a very crucial thing to have whenever you're trading this strategy here. And let's say maybe you get like a structure whereby there is like a lot of liquidity, there is like a lot of fair value gaps or imbalances. Just know that that setup will work out very nicely, guys. That's an A plus setup right there. So as you can see here, we pushed up into an area of value. So now I am gonna show you like on the lower time frame what you need to expect, what you need to do for you to take an entry. Just because you've analyzed on the 4-hour, you know that the market is pushing down, but like this is just an example, but like already you'll get to understand like what's gonna happen whenever you are looking at the lower time frame, just because we need to wait for the price action to tap into areas of value. So let's say here we tapped into an area of value. As you can see, the market was pushing up, creating higher highs and higher lows. So high, low, high, low, and then we had this high, low. So this is a high. So obviously this is your change of character that I was talking about, guys. Now, so after having a change of character, what did I tell you? You need to be looking for your highest point and your lowest point. As you can see here, this is the lowest point. That's because we have those three candles, guys. Now, so as you can see here, so the market failed to reach areas of value around this one here. So what happened is that the market continued breaking structures. As you can see here, we had a break of structure. So after having the break of structure, just because we need a confirmation now, just because even if the market reacts nicely on the higher time frame, you need to switch to the lower time frame so that you can get a nice entry. So we had this low here, as you can see, low, then we had this high here, which means the market started to sell off. So this was your high, this was your low here. As you can see here, from the high to the low, you use your Fibonacci tool. Then that is when you can plot out your areas of supply and demand. So as you can see here, the market did not tap into this area of supply, but instead it tapped into this fair value gap here. That is why it reacted nicely. So that is why you need to draw out like your fair value gaps and your supply and demand, guys. So moving along, you can obviously see that we had another break of structure within this point. So after having a break of structure, what happens? Like I told you guys, you need to look at your low and your high and low so that you can get to spot out like your area of value. So this is the low here, and you can just use your Fib tool from the high to the low. As you can see, the market went straight into a POI, guys, just around here, then sold off nicely. For that matter, then we had another break of structure, of which it's this one here. Let me just clone it. So after having this break of structure, we already know that this high is protected, this one here. So if the market breaks it, it means that we have a change of character, but like not long term, just because we already know that on the higher time frame we are still looking for selling opportunities up until we break. Let's go back to the 4 hour time frame so that you can see the high that I'm talking about. Up until we break this high here, remember we are still trading the internal structure, guys. Now, so up until we break this high here, that is when we can have a change of character. Instead of looking for selling opportunities, now you'll be looking for buying opportunities. But like if it's still protected, you're still looking for sales. That's just an internal structure, market structure shift, guys. But like it's gonna go back down and give you like those nice selling opportunities. Sorry for touching the mic, guys. Sorry about that. So as you can see here, we had a change of character. Then after having a change of character, we were looking, let's say maybe the market traps you. In this case, you're looking for buys within this area here, then it takes you out, just because you don't know the overall market structure. You don't know the overall market structure, you don't know how to read market structure. But like if you give yourself time and always look at the structures, then you'll know what you need to do. So as you can see here, we broke the higher time frame structure. So this is a change of character. Sorry about that, guys. This is another change of character. And someone was asking me about like the structures, like how do I map out the structures, guys? And you have seen what I told you guys now. We don't change character up until we break higher time frame structures. So this is a BOS on the higher time frame. Now even if you go back to the 4 hour time frame, you will see that this is a higher time frame break of structure, guys. Now so BOS on the higher time frame. So on the higher time frame, what you need to be doing is looking for your highest point. Now you need to look at the highest point of the daily, just because the internal structure is complete. As you can see, we've taken out the previous low. So we have this high, then we have this low here. So you can just use your Fibonacci tool from the high to the low, just like that. You can obviously see what happened here. There is no need for me to explain now. There is a fair value gap here, and then after having the fair value gap, you have your demand, your supply zone around here, guys. And I'm gonna change the color for the supply. So now we're gonna switch over to the 15-minute time frame. We need confirmations on our POI, starting off with the fair value gap. Whenever the market taps into the fair value gap, that is when you start looking for confirmations. So as you can see here, from the bottom of the structure, this is our target on the lower time frame. As you can see, everything is nice, guys. When it comes to trading SMC, I really enjoy like this concept here, very much enjoy it. And whenever I teach you guys, I get to also refresh my brain and also practice often, guys, just because the market is constantly moving. You just need to practice. And then you have your low, then you have your high, low, high, low, then you have your high, low, high, and then we had this lower low. Like I told you, a change of character within this point, but like this is not valid. Reason being, we are not at an area of value. Then we had another change of character within this point that moved very nicely to the upside, taking into this fair value gap here. Then after tapping into it, we expect the market to push up. So let's say high, low, then we are expecting a higher high to take out this previous high here, but like the market failed to break it. As you can see here, failed to break. That means this is a change of character here. So from the high, of which is this one, to the low, you can obviously see that there is no way that you can just use like this area here. You can also use like this one here, use this one here, as you can see. But like if you cannot find an area of value, let's say maybe this supply area is too small, you just need to move to the 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour, that is when you can get to determine your area of supply. Simple, just like that, guys, just like that. Then you can go back to the 15-minute time frame and look for your entries now, just because even if you have like a large supply zone like this one, your entry should be here, your stop loss is still above this area here, then the market will continue to push to the downside. As you can see here, this was a nice setup. And I think that is it for today's video, guys. I'll see you on another one. Peace and love.